3, 2, 1, 5! How you doing, friends? This is Ernie with the Trader of Futures and PatternCast. What is PatternCast? I'm sorry, I'm going to have to mention this every time I start a video, or a live stream. PatternCast is our signal service. My partner and I, we started it, he started it probably a decade ago. I've been helping him along and joining the crew and making it real for almost a year and a half now. Almost 2 years. Well, actually, a little over a year and a half, almost 2, yeah. PatternCast, what is it? It's for traders. It allows you to trade and gives you signals, incredible signals. I mean, fantastic signals. Something like you've never seen before, using a kind of a pattern recognition technique in Forex, futures, and stocks. And then the list of stocks is growing, and we are looking to do Bitcoin, but I need to find a stable source of Bitcoin data. Now, if you have that Bitcoin data and you think you know which is the most stable source on the market that has historical information, has updates every day where the open and close are consistent day in, day out, we will then apply that and start producing Bitcoin PatternCast calls. That's right. So, if you're in the know about Bitcoin data, historical price data, it is stable from a reputable source, goes back at least 9 years, and has consistent opens and closes every day, contact me. I want to know. Yep, and then we will start producing Bitcoin calls. You may be saying to yourself, but Ernie, that's me, but Ernie, aren't you a detractor of Bitcoin? That's not true. I love technology. I love the way it's applied. Sometimes I don't love the way it's applied. Either way, I'm a critic and a fan of technology, and particularly things that could potentially be culturally significant. And I certainly view Bitcoin that way. Now, do I believe it will be Bitcoin into the future from here and on? I don't know. I don't know if Bitcoin's going to be it. The one. Bitcoin's the one. I have no idea. But it certainly has paved the way. I think that there were some serious flaws with Bitcoin. The biggest one being its governance model, or lack of governance model. Now, does that mean that you would need a government or a central authority to enforce this governance model? No, it could still be distributed. As a matter of fact, that is the primary problem. That there is one singular governance model, and it doesn't work across the board. It needs a distributed, decentralized governance model. Then Bitcoin would be something worth looking at. It would be something that could be adaptable to other things. It needs to have forking controlled. I don't like the idea of having these developers as being the sort of sole heirs of what goes in and comes out of Bitcoin, as if we can trust these people. What else? The whole mining apparatus needs to be overhauled. So all of these things, I don't know if they're possible to implement in Bitcoin, but they are serious deterrents to its future viability, in my opinion. And maybe something else might come along that will solve all these problems. Solve the problem of anonymity. I mean, right now, they talk about censorship resistant in Bitcoin, but that could be further from the truth. Everybody knows who you are once you step into that network. Everybody! And there's nothing you can do about it. They'll know about you from now until ad infinitum. You will be forever emblazoned on the ledger of Bitcoin once you participate. People think, well, no, there's anonymity. There isn't. So, this video, what is this video about? This video, as you know, I love to look at price action, how I marry that with the fundamental story, and most of you know what I think about the fundamental story in terms of Bitcoin, that I feel that the network right now is weak. It is very weak, and that's why we haven't been experiencing growth. And you might be looking at this last push up as something that is indicative of a strengthening network, and it couldn't be further from the truth. This was just another pump. A pump by the whales, the powers, that have a vested interest in seeing Bitcoin go up. They thought that they could prime that pump enough, push it up enough, to attract enough people into it, but it failed. It failed miserably. If you go look at Google Trends for Bitcoin, you'll see how it failed. It failed at capturing the public's attention. The mainstream media wasn't behind this push. And I think that's what that was the problem, that they didn't do a coordinated push. And this is the problem. It's kind of a conspiracy. The whales, the exchanges, at least some of them, and maybe to a lesser degree some of the mainstream media who are in cahoots with the whales. It was poorly planned, poorly executed, and it did not achieve. They need a widespread, dispersed, well-coordinated marketing program to try to start getting people in their feather up. I don't know if that's going to mean creating some kind of event, disaster, epiphany, mass epiphany. I have no idea. But yeah, they failed to do that. And so what they've created is they've created another bubble, very similar to the bubble that happened in 2017 and failed miserably. It already has all of the anatomical things that a bubble is made up of. We are now in the decline of the initial push up. We should now see an additional secondary high that will be produced. I don't know if it's going to come in the next few days or not. It's going to be an opportunity. A secondary high. It won't be as high as the first one, which reached up to, let's see, what did it reach up to? Looks like about 13.8 and change. The secondary high will probably be, I don't know, maybe 13,000. I have no idea. We're going to get that secondary blow-off top. That's what I call it, a blow-off top. And then we will start retracting dramatically. That is, if this is in fact just the typical bubble, where things outpaced the actual value of Bitcoin. All right, let's see here. We're going to go to the chat and see what we have here. How you doing, Chris? First, last, V. How you doing? Our Daily Bit. Arbiter Man. Haven't seen you for a while. Our Daily. Let's see. Chris Curry. Lego Wifey. Tyler Cobb. Robert. How you doing? All right. We time traveled. No. BLX index. I don't know what that means. One daily. Oh, the BLX index. I'm not familiar with it. I'll need more information on that. One daily, weekly, and monthly. I need daily data. Open and closed data. And it has to be available. If it costs some money, it costs some money. You don't approve of mining. I do approve of mining as a way of, having some kind of algorithm that protects the coin. Of course I do. But the current mining algorithm it just fucking sucks. I'm sorry. But it does. But mining isn't the only way to create this or to create the kind of surety that they need. I mean, there are other ways to do this. Shorts have been getting wrecked since April. Yes, but now the shorts have basically left the building. Go look at Bitcoin BTC USD shorts. Almost like your mic is picking up the output. Yes, we are in a time warp. Lego Wifey. Wow, 2 Bitcoin coin rants one after the other. Lucky me. This is going to be a regular thing because I'm telling you that we are hot on creating a Bitcoin scan. And I think that'll be significant. Particularly as Bitcoin comes off of this bubble and starts becoming very tradable. Tyler says, it hasn't failed. Binance is still doing over 1 billion in USDT trading per day for the last 2 weeks, now highest ever. And of course we know that USDT, or Tether, came out and admitted that they were a fraud, that they did not have the funds to back up the actual USDT. They are printing more of it. So the fraudulent company that admits that they're fraudulent is printing more fraudulent Tether to pump Bitcoin up, and that was the source of this pump. What's up with the echo? I don't know what you're talking about. Is there an echo? Robert says, is there any governance model? What about no forks or updates, thus no developers or anyone can change the rules? No, actually, you could have a change in the, I guess you could call it maintenance upgrades, things like that, but changing the outright rules is a tough thing. We need some kind of distributed or decentralized governance model and that means people, but somehow it could be distributed to the entire population of Bitcoin, and maybe Bitcoin itself needs to be broken up into, I don't know, like almost like counties or states. Having to play by the rules that were initially laid out. The rules that were initially laid out just simply don't work. And we saw that on the last bubble, where the cost of actually doing transactions on Bitcoin got so expensive that miners were so taxed, and particularly now that we're going to have a halving, I think that that's going to spell big trouble if we do enter into another bubble. I agree. Tyler says, I agree it was a mini bubble. I think you'll see a lot of buyers come in around 7,000. I think it's going to go much lower than that. And maybe they'll come in at 7,000. I think you'll see 3,000, sub 3,000 this time. Brave new coin, data and something. Chris Corey, been too long since I've caught the live chat. You used to say my last name correctly. Sorry. Corey. How else would you say that? Corey. Corey. Ernie, why do you think all gold-backed cryptos have failed? Because they were scams. Simple as that. Virtually all the cryptos that have failed were scams. They were simply out there trying to capture or to wrap their hands around the rapture. Capture the rapture. Where is the secondary high? It hasn't happened yet. But it is in the process of doing that. So Tyler Cobb agrees with me again. Second top incoming. Slow bleed off until the volume diminishes back around 200,000 USDT trading volume on Binance. That's what I'm waiting for to buy back in. And of course, my tact on this is to wait for that secondary high, to turn my LTC back into USD, Wait for the sharp move down, buy back into USDT, wait for the LTC BTC ratio to flip, and then change my LTC back into BTC. That is my plan. It's like the room mic. Or maybe a different mic is active on your computer. It doesn't sound like your normal. Huh. Audio capture. Seems to be okay. Oh, I see. All right. I turned off the Skype mic. I think there was the Skype mic, or it was an additional auxiliary input. It also seems like we're only coming out on one channel here. Let's see if we can fix that. Advanced audio properties. Downmix to mono. Tell me if this is working out okay. We're going to downmix to mono. There we go. So now we're down to mono. It should now sound like it's coming out of both channels. We got rid of the Skype. Lego Wifey says, my husband has done okay in BTC after the volume profile course. We have been reading the books you recommend. Thanks. You're welcome. I'm glad. Yeah, the volume profile course it allows you to create kind of a roadmap of where price is likely to go, and as it moves into those areas, you start gaining an understanding of the likelihood of it achieving a certain high or low or level or whatever, based on that understanding, based on the understanding of the structure of the market. Does crypto ever change from current 24/7 gambling to intended currency revolution? No. No. Right now, how can you best use Bitcoin? Bitcoin right now, I guess, is best used as just sort of an asset to trade. You know, is it a store of value? I'm not so sure about that right now. It certainly wouldn't be if you bought into Bitcoin now and then it goes back down to 3,000, 2,000. How can one argue that it's a store of value? Maybe when it gets down to $3,000 or sub $3,000, it might be a good time to start adding a little bit. But I am still wary of adding any significant amount of money to Bitcoin. Ernie, do you think 14K was the top, or is that's what I'm saying? I'm saying, Tyler, that it is that was the first blow off top. We're going to follow the anatomy. Look that up. Anatomy of a bubble. We're going to then create a secondary, smaller blow off top, come down, hit a dead cat bounce, and then ever diminishing dead cat bounces until we level out again and wait for the next surge. Good. Which books? Which books have I recommended? I always recommend the same books, and they're all by the same author. Well, most of them are. The trilogy by Nassim Taleb, and that is Black Swan, Anti-Fragile, Systems That Gain from Disorder, and also Fooled by Randomness. Now, I like his fourth book, his most recent book, Skin in the Game. I think that that's an important book. If you want to really understand how professional traders work, then I would go to Jack D. Schwager's books, where he interviews these traders. Sean says, I think we're going to 9,200, but I don't know shit. But see, that's just a guess. You know, I mean, are we going to 9,200? Yeah, eventually. But I think we may have hit the bottom on this move down. I wouldn't be surprised if we do one more move down, but it does seem like we're going to go for the secondary top next. All right. So I'm going to harken back to the Google trend on Bitcoin, and I want to show you something that is really quite significant. This is the most recent Google trend on Bitcoin, and you can see very, very clearly that it moved up sharply in response to this latest bubble attempt up to 13.8. I mean, almost 3/4 of the last bubble happened very quickly. But look how it's pulled back. This is the interest in Bitcoin is pulled back. Now, this level here really isn't that high when you start looking at it compared to, say, the last, 12 months. Let's look at it the last 2 years. Let's see if we can get this in here. Custom time range. It's not allowing me to do a custom time range for some reason. Past 5 years, maybe. All right. So here was the last, the big bubble that happened. And then this current bubble, which in price actually came up about 75% of the previous bubble. Look at the interest that was garnered. Practically nothing compared to the first time. Practically nothing. I mean, that right there says it all. All right, let's see if I can get just the... for some reason, it won't give me the custom. Let's try to reload the page. And let's go to the custom time range. And we'll make that 2017. It all started probably right, beginning of July, right around there, 2 years ago. All right. So that's real clear to see. Very clear. Look at the interest that was garnered off of this last bubble. It is nothing. This is sort of almost a direct correlation to the network effect. The number of new network nodes that are on, which is really the determining factor of strength of Bitcoin. There is no interest. There are no new people coming into Bitcoin. And this shows it very clearly. They failed to attract new people on this latest push up. And that's why I said there needs to be some sort of coordinated marketing effort with the mainstream media that they simply, I think, and that's going to cost them some money. So I think that the whales thought they would go it alone and see if they could push it up on their own, and they failed miserably. Casper says, do you think we should compare the trend on the area before the last RAN started? The interest wasn't up back when either in the start of the run. Area before the last RAN started. The interest wasn't up back then either in the start of the run. No, because we've already gone into the bubble, and the bubble has blown off. And now the interest has waned. So, no. Thanks, Shrapnels. Yes, please, hit the likes down below. The spelling on my message was hideous, yeah. That happens to me all the time with autocorrect. I hate autocorrect. All right. Back to the headshot. Oh, man, we didn't change this. It is July 2nd. Need to change that. And then we need to change the title. So what I'm saying here, Bitcoin explodes, then implodes. I'm saying that we've already gone through the explosion. There may be a secondary explosion, and then all the gas in the air is going to get sucked out, and then we're going to implode and do the same thing that happened back in the beginning of 2018. There we go. So that's the prognostication. From there's really nothing to support anything else from a volume profile point of view. We can bring in more data here and take a look at that. It's possible. I think that there's really heavy-duty resistance right up here around the 12,000 area. That may be 12,000 plus may be the secondary blow-off top. But you can see right here in the original, I need to get my head out of the way. In the original bubble, we had that initial blow-off top, pull back down, secondary blow-off top. And now that's exactly what we have here now. We have that initial blow-off top, and then I expect a secondary blow-off top and then come down. A double bottom at 3K. No, I don't think that that's really a pattern. It's Tuesday. Yes, you're right. It is Tuesday. It's not Monday. But it is July 2nd. Of course, I'm going to change that, and then we're going to stop the video. Well, Shrapnels, I'm glad that you like it when I scream and argue with people. I like to call it tough love. And I don't look at it as arguing. I look at it as correcting behavior. Lego Wifey says those are outstanding books, and referring to the Nassim Taleb books. Black Swan, Anti-Fragile, Systems That Gain from Disorder, and Fooled by Randomness. But I also like Skin in the Game. Skin in the Game is so important. It's an important concept. Casper says, I'm looking at the trend chart between September 2013 and September 2017. When the price of the last bubble was hit, the trend chart is around 20% of the peak of the bubble. Okay. No shill pattern cast. You can't shill something that that's yours. When a business is yours and you talk about it, and the venue is yours, it is impossible to say that that's shilling. Now, if someone else was paying me to talk about another product outside of my purview, that would be shilling for that other product. So shilling is not the correct term. Gianfranco says, this last rally was just a last cash grab by Bitfinex. Oh, by the way, wasn't yesterday supposed to be the first day of the return of BitConnect? Let's find out what's going on over there. Nope. They're gone. So that was all a ruse. The BitConnect 2.0. So that's completely gone, as far as I know. Let's see if we can find anything, because yesterday was supposed to be the day that they were going to relaunch. Yeah, there's really nothing. Nothing. So it never happened. What is this? https://bitconnect2.com. I don't know if that's a thing. We'll look. I have no idea what this is. I don't think this is BitConnect. So anyways, BitConnect's gone. Thank you. First time I heard of skin in the game was by me, huh? Interesting. That is a term. It's a relatively new term. At least in the general parlance of culture. But it was something that I heard in my neighborhoods back in the 60s, having skin in the game. But a lot of people attribute that to something much more recent. Skin in the game. I think it came from a movie or something, if I remember correctly. Where did it come from? Let's try something like Origins of Skin in the Game. But I think the concept is pretty, let's see. Nope, cannot find. I can't remember what was the origin of it. There was a recent, within the last 20 years, some people claim that it came from this reference. But I'm telling you, I've known about this reference since I was a child. We used to say, "Give me some skin." Yeah, but I researched it a while ago, and I remember there was some reference to skin in the game, and I just can't seem to find it right now. But I will. I will find it. All right. So here we are. We're 30-plus minutes into this show. I'm not going to... The show isn't going to go too far on, but I just wanted to leave you with that thought that I am calling for a secondary blow-off top for Bitcoin that will be less than the initial blow-off top, which reached 13,800, at least on Coinbase. And I believe that blow-off top is going to be somewhere between 12 and 13,000, and then it's going to start coming down. And yes, V. Lee, you're right. I should pump PatternCast. Go to PatternCast.com if you're interested in trading. Let me ask you this. Has trading really worked out for you? Have you made consistent profits in your trading? Do you feel confident in everything that you do in your trading? It's probably no. Then wouldn't it make sense to at least check out PatternCast? All right, folks, I want to thank you all very much. It's time to go. We'll see you next time. I'm going to be making this show a regular thing in the afternoon. We'll be tracking Bitcoin. Again, I want to reiterate that I am looking for a good Bitcoin feed, data feed. I need show results. V. Lee is really wants me to push Bitcoin PatternCast today. Okay, I'll show results. All right. Here are all the results of PatternCast since we've been running it. All right, and you can see it right up here in the right. I know it's not very large, but almost 62% of every call that we've made, everything that is triggered, has either reached or exceeded the target. And then the average, it has exceeded the target. The average move of those is 182% of the target. Now, if I wanted to see, well, what about 70%? 70% of the trades have reached at least 70% of the target. 62% of the trades have reached 100% of the target or more. So that's what that's saying. So at least 62% have, or 69% or 70% have reached 70% or more. There's 96.4% have been profitable within the 4 days. 96. I mean, that is just unheard of. Let me just say that with PatternCast, I mean, these statistics, these are straight from all of the trades right here. There's been 225 of them since we started the service. There's actually been about 1,500, 1,700 trades, but 225 of them have triggered. And of those that have triggered. Now, another interesting thing is this little scatter plot that you see here. This is showing you, since we started putting out the trades, how many trades we've had and what percentage have been over 100%. This 200% line here is down below here. You can see we've increased the number of trades, triggered trades, profitable trades, and the number of outliers have increased dramatically. That's what this cloud is above here showing. This chart here is showing how often it stays above 100% of the month by month, that it stays above 100% of the target, 100% being right here. So we give unbelievably generous targets that are all statistically based, and PatternCast consistently picks winners that skew way, way, way above the intended target. So what PatternCast does is it actually gives you opportunities that are almost like no-brainers. Swing trades usually happen somewhere between the first and third day, up to 4 days, and then we cut it off. Thank you, Michael Goldman. And I thought the same thing. You have great intuition. You never forgot your December 2017 call at the top. I didn't get wrecked like my friends. Shrapnel says, I'm waiting for a cash out. If it works out, I would be a happy trader. So anyways, I showed the results, V. Lee. I hope that satisfies you. PatternCast is just an outrageous system. We have been chosen by one of the largest brokers in the country and the largest Forex broker to act as a third-party service that they would recommend. And so that's happening now. We're being put up on their site now, and then we're going to start a marketing program going into the end of the summer and into the fall. And then PatternCast we expect it to blow up then. I mean, when they introduce us to hundreds of thousands of their customers. So they've been monitoring our service since it began. They've actually been in our trade room. They've been on our distribution list. They have watched every single piece of correspondence that we have with customers. And let me tell you, trying to get a futures broker that is on your side is not an easy thing, because they have regulatory scrutiny like you wouldn't believe. And they've decided that they want us to be part of the list of services that they could recommend. So again, we trade futures, Forex, and equities. And the list of equities is going to blow up now that we've solved a lot of automation problems. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Please hit that like button and share this video. That's a very important thing. If you can get out there, go down to the share button, share it on your Twitter, share it on your Facebook. I'd really appreciate it. All right. Again, thank you very much. Take care. Hey, what's up, man?